welcome back to the BHAW Army Wrestling Radio Show. I'm Jordan Tom, followed Brian Rowan. We got Coach Ward on, and we got a special guest duo. They're ready to duel off on some hot takes for the EIWA pre-seeds. Got on Dan Ciccarelli and Sean Hutchison. What's up, gentlemen?
I'll let you go first.
I'll kick it off.
This is really good radio, guys.
Hell of a start to this one. If this is any indication of how tonight's going to go, and we think it is, all right, then we're off to a fantastic start. What's up? It's good to be here. Hutch, Chick, how the heck are you?
Well, I'm doing well. Can't wait for this weekend, or is it Friday? So I'm like antsy. I can't get to sleep.
No, really, you can't wait till this weekend because it's this weekend you get to write your recap. That's what you can't wait for. Friday's good. The tournament day is good, but you can't wait for the weekend when you get to write your recap, praise, maybe bash a few guys. It's gonna be praising 10 guys.
I misread you on that because in the beginning you're like, oh, I love his optimism and all that. So I was like, oh, he needs me to like say something. Because remember, you're like, I love his optimism, but I don't see it right now. But I was like, that's, he's got to say that.
No.
If everyone believes Chick, then they'll be like, oh, I'm an EIWA champ.
We got Hutch on here to balance you out. What's up, Hutch?
Hey, Coach. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here talking wrestling instead of court martials and leave forms. So
I'd much rather talk wrestling too. And by the way, guys, if you hear an alarm clock go off, I set a timer for 3 minutes. So 3 minutes until we can bash BHAW. In 3 minutes until BHAW can start talking about exercise.
3 minutes?
I was just going to say, I actually did 5 rounds of 3 minutes of an exercise today for my wife.
It's 3 minutes. It's like a love-hate thing. I get more comments about the show for people praising us for bashing BHAW, for bringing exercise into every single conversation. But at the same time, we don't need to make the show just about BHAW and his exercise. So like I said, we got about 2.5 more minutes before we're going to let him talk about it.
All right, well, let's jump right in. Let's get 2.5 minutes of content before we roast BHAW. So starting at 125 EIWA, we got the pre-seeds out. Let's get your thoughts overall, Coach, on the pre-seeds before we go weight by weight.
Is that what we're doing? We're just we're going over pre-seeds? I like our draws. I think they're awesome. I think they're perfect. I think they couldn't have been any better. I don't know what other attitude to take into a tournament, but here's why I like our draws is because I like our team. That's what it boils down to. I like our draws because I like who we're sending out there in competition. Everybody we're sending out there is dangerous. Everybody has the capability, if they wrestle to their absolute best, can go win the tournament. So that's exciting as a coach when you feel like you have a talented squad that really hasn't even come close to reaching their potential yet. So I like it because I like who we have on our team. I'm excited. The training's been going really well. They're making me as coach feel pretty confident. They seem to be really excited. We're talking on Tuesday night. So, 48 hours from now, we'll be, going to sleep at the hotel, ready to wake up and scrap the next day. So it's coming up like that. Like our team, like our draws, excited for it.
So what day are you guys traveling up there?
So we're going to leave on Thursday morning and make it a quick trip. We're going to get there. It's about a 4-hour drive. We get there, we work out, we eat, go to bed, and wake up and scrap the next day. This year, in years past, we may have left a day and a half early. Got there. If we were competing on Friday, we probably would have got there on Wednesday night, slept in late Thursday, got up, worked out, and just kind of lay around on Thursday. But I'm trying to minimize time off campus this year and minimize time and other places that we can't control very much. So make it a quick trip, drive there, work out, wrestle, come back.
Here's a question me and B were kind of talking about before the show and just a general thought on the tournament before we kind of get into the eaches. With this being the first tournament that all the teams have wrestled, they're used to wrestling dual meets. At least for me personally, a guy that cuts a lot of weight, being a dual guy versus a tournament guy is a totally different thing, totally different feel. Performance can be totally different. How much do you see that playing in? Not necessarily just for our guys, if at all, but for the tournament as a whole. These guys are going to be sucking weight, just a totally different feel.
Well, I think what you're going to see is, like the first round of any tournament, people that, kind of suffer on their weight cut are going to be hurting in the first round. And as the day goes on, you're going to see everybody's best. I mean, that's just kind of the way it goes. And, you're guaranteed 30 minutes rest between bouts. Everybody's in shape by this time of year, so that's not a big deal. But the ones that cut their weight the best and are able to fuel the best throughout the day are going to be stronger as the day goes on. The ones that maybe took some shortcuts, didn't do things the right way, aren't fueling themselves properly as the day goes on, they may feel it a little bit later. I think for our guys, they've all done a good job. If you've seen our guys on a 1 hour weigh-in coming off the scales, they've got plenty of energy. So the tournament's 2 hour weigh-in. So it's a 2 hour weigh-in, 1 day tournament. Our guys have had a lot of energy. They've been strong all year. It's going to be the same. So I expect us to have our best performances of the year. And I would expect our opponents to have their best performances. And that's why you go compete in the postseason. That's what you do it for.
I just wouldn't be surprised if there's some guys out there that had some poor records just from, weight cut issues or whatever. It's hard to judge someone's body of work when they've only wrestled 5 matches in the whole season. So
yeah, it's a good point. It's a fair
definitely
point.
Makes it more dangerous.
Yeah, no, you can't overlook anybody, like no matter what their records are. We've got, even looking at some of our guys, and then you look at some other opponents in the field and you see their records aren't, very impressive. But if you overlook them, then you're going to regret it right after the match. So, yeah, records, throw it out the window. I mean, everybody's fighting for a chance to go compete at the NCAA tournament. So you're going to get everybody's best effort.
Great. Well, now it's time to roast B-Row, so let's get into that.
Oh, yeah, my alarm went off. How was the workout this morning, B-Row?
It was pretty good. I won it for our
no one cares.
Pretty good at it was 5 rounds of 25 cals on the assault bike.
So what's up, Hutch? What's been going on, man?
I'm good. I'm doing good. B-Row's workout sounds good too, though.
You don't even know what the rest of it was, and you're not going to know. I'm not going to tell you that.
No, sounds good. No, it sounds good. Sounds good.
Don't do that to us, B-Row. Please tell us the rest of it. We really want to know.
And it was double unders for the rest of 3 minutes, and then
you want double underhooks?
Double under jump rope.
Oh, that's the thing? You guys do that for exercise?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm more of like a bend and reach and a shuttle run guy, but that's just me. Anyways, let's get back on topic, gentlemen.
Go to the barbershop and get a haircut every Monday morning, guy. It sounds like.
Well, all right, let's start at 25 for the first weight. We'll let Dan go ahead and take the reins, and then Hutch can follow up on any discrepancies, and we'll just go back and forth with interjections from myself, B-Row, and Coach.
Oh.
Hi, Jordan, if I could, why don't Hutch and I put out our number one with maybe an alternate dark horse bracket buster.
Do it.
I want to hear it.
So my number one is Montgomery because he's the only dark horse that can actually win the tournament. Now, 6 seed, 3 seed, years past it hasn't made a difference. So I really think that Montgomery, he goes in, he can win it. On the other hand, 7th seeded Allen he's a veteran. I mean, he can make it all the way to the finals, possibly win. And then my completely subjective X Factor wild card is Fitzpatrick from American, just because of the week 2 seed at 174. So that's like my primaries and my alternate. Hutch?
Yeah, so Mark Montgomery, I looked at it and I was texting B-Row last night when I saw him. I was like, he's got a pretty good shot at 133 to win the whole thing. Or at least make the finals. So he would be my dark horse too. I hate to not mix it up. A dark horse from outside of the Army team, Greg Gaxiola. We saw PJ wrestle him last year out on the Midway. Kid's pretty tough. He doesn't look like he had a good start to the season, but he's a dark horse at 149 who could potentially PJ could see in the finals.
I mean, those are quality picks. I usually don't spend a lot of time talking about opponents or guys that aren't on our squad. But I love your picks at 133, and I'm right there with you. I don't think it's a dark horse. Listen, Mark's got to wrestle somebody that threw him for 6, ended up beating him by a couple points. And then, most likely if the brackets play out, he's going to have somebody he's wrestled before. I think no matter how they play out, if he wins that first round, he's going to have somebody he beat.
Yep.
But that part doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is Mark is excited and he's really good and he's ready to wrestle and he keeps getting better. Like he's a completely different wrestler than he was in early January because you're not around him every day like I am, but his attitude has just been so consistent. Like he's never given up on himself, even when performances weren't that great. He's right back to work. He never starts doubting himself. He just continues to believe and continues to push. And so we like that. I think your pick at 49, though, Hutch, I mean, that's a good one because the guy can obviously wrestle, So it's kind of an odd situation. He moved literally from coast to coast. I don't think he's wrestled a lot this year. Going in, you say he's a 6 seed?
He's 6 seed, yep.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty dangerous. 6 seed, pretty low for a returning qualifier, right?
Yep.
Is he a returning qualifier?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Yeah. So a 6 seed, a returning qualifier. Yeah, I mean, not a bad pick. I'm still going with my guy. I think he's going to win it. So, yeah, not a bad pick. Chick, your other dark horse. I don't like it. not a high
I don't like
pick.
it either. Listen, I have Army scoring 166 points, and Navy losing.
I go Montgomery next topic.
Every match.
My dark horse is Ben Bazook at 74. It's 3 seed.
That's not a dark horse.
I don't know if anybody saw the EIWA preview that Flo did. They gave him one sentence, and he's under the radar completely. I saw that and I was like, whoa, they don't know. They definitely don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, he's wrestled 2 matches in college, so. Does he deserve more than one sentence? No.
But they gave 4 sentences to the 2 guys that he majored, and they put him above. But that's what seems like a flaw.
He's 8-2 last year.
Yeah, I saw that. I think he wrestled more matches than that. Actually, I think some of those matches disappeared off WrestleStat, and I'm not sure why.
They did. Yeah, they did. I think there was a couple of losses there, but still,
losses. Yeah, he took a couple on the chin that disappeared too. But yeah, Bazook. I mean, 3rd seed, dark horse. We'll take it.
I think he's majored everybody in the bracket over the past 2 years, except for O'Malley, who I don't think he's ever seen.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Like he majored Nolan last year, 10-3. Beat him twice last year. Beat him 10-3. The most. That was his last match last year.
Okay.
I probably know more about his career than he does.
I guarantee you know more about his season last year than I do. So stay tuned.
I'm sorry. So at 125, I was hoping that Ryan would get the 7 seed because then he can go against Treaster, but now he's got Lane, and Lane, he's just too weird because you never think a tall, skinny guy is like a thrower. So now he's got Lane to deal with in the beginning. But if he can get past Lane.
Lane from Lehigh.
Yeah, Lane from Lehigh. If he can get past Lane, he's looking at Rose or Ryder. And I mean, Micah Rose is one of those talented freshman guys that just stays in good position. So that match, in terms of 5 and 6 seeds that could win, Rose and Ryder, that 5-4 matchup in quarterfinals, that can go either way. And then you got Curry and Seidman. Now Curry, he's one of those really good veteran guys. I think he's always lost for the past 2 years. I think he always lost to Chalafu, but then during the regular season, but then placed one above him at EIWA's just because of the way the backside turned out.
Yeah, that bracket blew up last year.
Yeah.
There were some highly seeded guys that kind of shit the bed and it really blew up. So, and that's right. Yeah, Curry did place higher than Trey last year, even though Trey beat him up pretty good in their match. But
yeah, that's because he had Petzel in the Conci semis. But
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that bracket blew up.
Yeah, I mean, I have Lane winning it over Curry just because I don't think anyone's cracked the code on Lane yet. But did Hetrick go against Lane?
No, I don't think Ryan ever wrestled him. I don't think he, cracked the code or whatever. I think he's undefeated this year, so nobody's figured it out. But he's not undefeated on his career. So
no.
He's got big move potential. He's kind of awkward to wrestle, so it's good that we got a chance to fill him before. And Ryan's wrestling his practice today was the best he's looked all year by far. Just looks more confident, a little bit more free and loose. And if he takes that attitude in, I've said it about Ryan Chauvin, all year long. If he takes that attitude where he's just confident and free and loose and not feeling any pressure, he's really dangerous because the kid is really good. He can wrestle every position. But it's important, you know, against somebody like Lane, you better wrestle your positions and not his. Because Lane's pretty dangerous. He's got big move potential, and he'll go for things. You know, he doesn't hold back. So, yeah, Ryan's got to wrestle his positions. If he does, you step out there on the mat, you got a chance to beat anybody.
Oh yeah. So if you want, I'll just run down my placements. I got now. Granted, this is not what I want. I'm just going what I think is going to happen. Otherwise, my Army score will be like 240 points.
We'll take it. We need to set a record.
I know. But I got Lane 1, Curry 2, then Ryder 3, Treaster 4, Chauvin 5, Seidman 6, and then Rose 7, and Cockrell 8. That's what I got.
You heard it here first. We're going to blow that one up. Promise you that.
Yeah, I just think Chauvin can do a lot of damage on the backside based on how his matches will shake out. So if he doesn't get past Lane, he's looking at having Rose or Ryder. I'd rather Ryder get past Rose in the beginning, and then so that way Chauvin can go against him again because he had him beat. And then Chauvin will have a chance of going against Treaster to make the Conci finals. So it's just Treaster might be too much of a veteran, too stingy. I don't know.
Hutch, you got anything to add?
No, I think it's a shame we didn't get to wrestle LIU at 125 and get the 7th seed. Treaster's a much more favorable matchup, like Chick said. I have Jarrett Lane. I didn't place everyone through the whole thing. Yeah. But I got Jarrett Lane winning the whole thing, and I have Ryan in 7th. I'm hoping that he can break into that 5th and 6th place match. I think it's going to be a little tough to qualify, but I hope he proves me wrong. There's a lot of guys in here can beat, but first and foremost, you know, team points. Go out there, win your first match, beat Kyle Waterman. That'll be a big one to get him started.
Yeah, that'll be getting the tournament started, like literally, right?
Yep.
It'll be match 1, bout 1, mat 1.
Should be.
Yeah, get it started off right. Right, we'll be looking forward to that. What? Who's got the next weight? Who's going 33?
Hutch, let's go first with that one.
Yeah, sure. I'll take 33. So when I first saw the seeds to this, I was like, when I saw Mark Montgomery at 6, I was like, what the hell? And I know he had the rough match with Hofstra and fell a little bit short at Lehigh. But these guys, like, he can beat every single person in this weight class. I know he didn't get to wrestle Malik Hines. Malik is probably a little more talented than the guy that he wrestled. But it's a great matchup, right? So Sabatkar, that dude's probably not thinking he's going to lose to Mark. He's like, oh, yeah, I tossed him. Mark dominated him after an 8-1 first period. I think he lost the bout by 3 or 4 points, but he had 2.
It was 8-1 after the first? Is that what it
8-1 first period.
Yeah.
I feel like
was that the match where he hit that nasty double leg from like halfway across the mat?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, he kind of
he's going to be worried. I mean, I don't think he's going to be coming in overconfident. I think he's going to be thinking about, wow, I got up big on him, but he started coming back. Like I got to worry about this guy. That's what I'd be thinking about. So
I think Montgomery. So in my like scouting report, I said Saboker, he's like one of those cow catcher guys. You come in with an arms out double, and if you like kind of, you know, when you whiff on a double, and if you're bad like me, you start to come higher, and then the guy just does a cow catcher. So it was less of a headlock, more of a cow catcher, and then got him right at the edge of the mat. And I know Montgomery likes doubles. I hope he just doesn't mistrust his own double legs. But Montgomery's got some slick New Jersey duck unders, so it's just going to be hard with one of those iron stance, short, stocky guys. But his legs get wrapped up easily. So
you're not going to like this, Chick, but, you know, Montgomery, he says he's really blue collar, and he's listening to all kinds of country music now. And he says he's just a blue collar outlaw. He told me the other day he should have been born in Oklahoma. So not that he's not repping Jersey, but he's starting to turn a little bit what he calls, you know, kind of blue collar outlaw on you. So
you got chain?
Is he wearing Oklahoma chains now instead of Jersey chains?
Oh, there's no chains in Oklahoma, BHAW. At least I don't know. did it used to be? I don't know. Yeah, I think Mark's got chains. You know, he's got they all do.
He ain't Oklahoman yet. He ain't Oklahoman yet. Because I saw them boys senior photo, and they all had steel toe work boots on. And Levi's. Ain't no chains and no tattoos on them boys.
Yeah.
Well, then he can go field artillery, go to Fort Sill for his Bullock.
Money.
Or 88.
So you just got Central Jersey's like different than Northern New Jersey.
Yeah.
So recruiting New Jersey is completely different where you go in New Jersey. I got to send you the New Jersey map that describes the people there, Coach.
You can give me a map like for not Northeasterners that describes Jersey for me.
Oh yes. Yes.
Because I know you've got the MTV Jersey, and then you've got like farmland Jersey, and then you've got a lot of stuff in between.
Yeah. So there's the Garden State part. So like the Central Jersey, close, like as you're getting kind of to PA, but before Philly, there's like a Philly buffer where it's kind of weird. But like the Pine Barrens, those are like the people of the hill. You know, they're weird. You know, where Montgomery is from, he's from
Roselle Park.
Roselle Park. Yeah. I don't think I know where that is.
So
Check your map.
So
yeah. You know what, Montgomery, here we go. This is what should be shown for the thumbnail for this video is Montgomery with Pat Glory in the cradle from the New Jersey State semis. That should be it, because Montgomery is like the big topic of this right now. He cradled up.
We'll see if our producer can't find that photo.
Oh, you go to
YouTube.
You can YouTube that clip. YouTube that clip and put Montgomery Glory, and it's the first one you comes up.
See what I can do. I'm pretty good at drumming up photos of Coach Ward usually.
Yeah, he did a slick, Merkel takedown, and then cradled him with a Merkel in.
Hutch is chomping at the bit out there. What's up, Hutch?
Oh, did you know I'm a homeowner in the Jersey Shore area?
I think I've heard a little something about this.
Yeah, that's me. I'm Jersey Shore, but Roselle Park it's on the border of North Central Jersey, but that's like train commuter distance to the city.
So you're telling me Mark's actually like a city boy?
Yeah,
City boy. Whew.
You can commute. It's like an hour train ride.
All right.
Back home, he goes by Monty. Now he's just trying to go by Mark. All right. Anybody else got anything on 33?
Yeah. So, all right. So I actually think, him going against Darren Miller again will be a tougher match than Sabatkar, because I don't think Darren Miller right now, he's looking at his bracket. He's like, oh shit, I got beat by Montgomery, and that's what I'd be thinking, if I was ever the 2 seed at the EIWA. Did not happen. But that's what I'd be thinking. So I bet he's doing a lot of film and studying on that, looking how he got beat with late takedowns, and ultimately because Mark was able to ride him out. So I do think Mark wins that match as well. I have Malik Hines, unfortunately, winning the whole thing. He looked really, really good in the match against Trampy. But Mark Montgomery to the finals, I like him being a national qualifier at a weight that only qualifies 3 people.
Yep. Now with the Darren Miller rematch, when I did the scouting, I was saying to myself, oh my gosh, he's not going to be able to hold Darren Miller down. Like Miller's got, like the way he did the hand control out, like he was very methodical, like textbook. And then when I saw Montgomery ride him out, I said, oh my God. I was like, this guy's going to win EIWAs. Like, I don't know how he did it.
That's the optimism I'm talking about, chick. Bring it back.
So, I mean, Darren Miller is a very technically sound wrestler, and
he's really good. Yeah.
He rode him out. So even the Lehigh announcers were talking about how Army's like this top work team. So that was pretty good to hear.
Yeah, Lane Peters can take credit for that too.
Yeah, LP,
go right
that's a
into
good segue to
141?
41. Yeah, LP, he's confident. LP will pick top. He's not afraid of that. Put me on top. Let me get a chance to turn somebody. He can have a 5-point period, ride them out 2 minutes, turn them.
Hashtag choose top.
Yeah, that's LP. They didn't even look over at us anymore. I'm like, whatever you want to do, Lane. It's auto top, he's just really confident, and and the more confident you get, the more physical and the more mean you get on top. So Lane he's not a fun guy to wrestle, LP. So no, he's gonna have to be ready to scrap, because that bracket's a tough one, and he knows it, and he knows his path to winning the tournament, and he's got to go through some pretty tough guys. So yeah, Lane's got to be ready. But at 41, we feel good about that too. I think Lane can beat anybody in the bracket. He shows up, wrestles the way that he needs to win it. He's going to wrestle hard. We know that. He's just got to wrestle. He's got to technically and kind of tactically do the things that are important for him. If he can do that, he can win the tournament.
All right, Hutch, you can go for. I'll just go 41. So with Peters, he used to be one of those guys I watched like early in his career. Whenever he threw legs in, I said, "Oh my gosh, don't get reversed or something like that." But I think being as tall as he was at 133 was almost like a hindrance. Now at 141, like he is seriously stressing the guys that are on bottom.
His biceps he's got now.
Yes, yeah, he's got the biceps now, and that's the most important thing. But when he chose top against McGonigal, it was like immediate. Then he rode him out and got that 4 count. When he went right to the
chick 4 count,
the line.
What happened? The chick 4 count.
Yeah, the 4 count. Yeah,
that's right.
But when he went right back to that line before McGonigal even chose neutral, he knew he had to choose neutral. And McGonigal is like looking back to his coach, is like, "What do I do?" He didn't know what to do. So I was like, "Oh man, he's gonna win." But McGonigal's probably confident that he knows he could take Lane down. But that's just stance. That's just a little bit of stance and movement tweaking. So yeah, it's just going to be tough with that Tribus. He makes it to the finals. It's going to be tough with Tribus, because Tribus is a typical Navy wrestler. They'll keep it close, and even if they're losing by a point, they'll try to vulture a win with a late takedown.
Yeah, it's a good bracket. McGonigal, I think, he's probably the best one-win wrestler in the tournament. So you can't overlook him. And then if it seeds play out, Trampe and Travis, it's a tough bracket. So that's what you want to go into the postseason and get. You want those tough matches, and you're going to go to the NCAA tournament. If you want a chance to, give yourself your best opportunity to get a high seed, then this is the bracket you want to go in. So I know LP's pumped for it.
Yeah, and allocation-wise, this looks like a good bracket too. Just so the fans know, we're sending 5 are going from EIWA at 141. So
nice.
It looks I think pretty good as for Lane in that position. The last couple of years, I've kind of looked at it like, man, the semis are super important, but then responding after losses in the semis, that's inevitable for some of the guys. Not to say that Lane's going to be in that position, but one of those 3 guys, between 125 and 141, maybe in that position where, can you speak to that a little bit before we go into kind of more of the weights?
You plan to go into the tournament with 10 champs, and that's your plan, your goal, and you always believe it's going to happen. You can maybe kind of take a step back and you say, okay, has that ever happened before? And you say, okay, well, listen, the reality is, tournaments are won in consolations. Really. Tournaments are won in, you can say quarterfinals and semifinals. Semifinals in this tournament, as small as the field is. And wrestlebacks, no team's ever won all 10 weights. But if you want to have a chance to win, you need to place all 10 weights. You can't leave points out there on the board. So, nobody's planning on being the wrestlebacks, but that's why they're so important. It's because you're wrestling for matches you never wanted to be in. But you got to find a way to do it. You got to find a way to do it for yourself. You got to find a way to do it for your team. So if it comes to that, then we'll have those conversations and we'll be ready.
What is the bracket going to look like with 10 teams in a 16-man bracket? I'm having a hard time even visualizing that.
So I think the 2 pigtails are 8 and 9 get into the 1 seed, and 7 and 10 wrestle the 2.
Yep.
So it's what, 2 matches to get into the semis?
Well, 1. It's 2 if you're 7 through 10.
Okay.
When you win your first round, you're in the semis.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a different tournament this year.
So for a weight class like 41, where you got to get top 5, essentially, you got to win 2 matches.
You got to win 2 matches.
2 matches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else got anything? We'll move on to 49.
49.
49,
No.
PJ Ogunsanya gets the number 1 pre-seed. Number 2 is Casey Cobb from Navy, who he just pieced up. So, I mean, there's not much to say here. I mean, he's beating all the guys, and he's beating them all handily. So as long as he goes out and keeps wrestling the way he has, then it should be pretty clear cut.
Yeah,
What do you think, Hutch?
Well, yeah, so I got PJ winning it without a doubt, absolutely, 100%. I don't want to say that's true though, because I know he lost to Keyshawn Clark at the duel and then 1-0 in the Conci semis last year at EIWAs. We don't know how Keyshawn Clark's wrestled because American hasn't, and Greg Gaxiola, don't expect to see him unless he makes the finals, but was another tough out, and probably after his big win against Wisconsin. Maybe a little bit of a letdown in that tight match last year out against Fresno State. But there are some tough competitors in here. But I love this draw. Jimmy Hoffman, I know they went 0-0 first period, but I felt like PJ broke him in that dual meet. Jimmy Hoffman walked away being like, hey, we're 1-1. We're on an equal playing field. I don't think he walked away from that dual meet thinking that way.
Exactly. I think there was 10 seconds that Hoffman was I thought he was dead for a second there. It was after that last takedown. Hoffman was just laying on the mat, limp. So he definitely broke Hoffman. However, he did ride PJ out until PJ bucked him. I mean, he was riding good. But the thing is, PJ doesn't put his head on the mat. So that's really, I think holding him down is what wore out Hoffman.
Well, PJ's going to wrestle hard, no matter what. He's got enormous lungs and he doesn't get tired. So that's, you're going to get that. And PJ's, I mean, he's a much different wrestler than he was last November, even than he was last March. So, yeah, excited for him. But that's the same thing for him. It's you're number 1 seed. That doesn't mean anything now. It means, okay, you're sitting at the top of the bracket. But if you overlook anybody, you're going to regret it. And listen, we know, we got to have respect for anybody you have. And especially when you get in, we wrestle Lehigh in the second, you better have respect for that opponent because he's got you before. So you better respect how tough it's going to be to beat him. And if you do, and you're prepared to work that hard, then you can do it. You can beat him. And then you move into the finals. Well, we'll worry about that when we get there. But they're going to be tough matches.
I mean, Corey Shy only beat, the 8 seed in overtime, right? So probably first match, he's the guy's going to be a tough out. There's no slackers.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So even, 1 seed PJ, he's going to be ready. Yeah, he'll be ready.
All right, 57. I mean, I think the question on everybody's mind, Coach, how's Marcus's recovery from his injury going? Is he ready to roll?
Yeah, he's ready to roll.
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Nothing more definitive than Coach saying it like that. I love to hear it.
Yeah, he's ready to roll.
They got anything on 57? He comes in at number 2.
Yeah, Chick, I know you want to talk on this one.
Yeah, Chick's gonna be going off on a rant here. I feel like.
No, I don't want to talk about it because I thought he got hosed last year because Princeton, got their lawyers and someone from the math department to go over the stats from last year's top seed, and then Hartman fell to 3 seed. I was like, oh, if they use the same criteria, he still beat a guy, but he got seeded over him. But no, it didn't happen. I'm not talking about it. But I will talk about.
It's on furlough, so they weren't involved in the seeding this year.
I don't think Heller makes it to the finals, and I think Nick Delp beats Cerniglia as the 5th seed, and Delp beats Heller. Because I don't know, Coach, help me out on this, but I think that Nick Delp wrestles like Hartman wrestled his freshman year, where he's like, something will happen, and you'll be like, does this guy know how to wrestle? And then he'll have someone on his back.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Delp is, he can be a tough matchup. But, Chick, I'm sorry to rain on your parade. Delp is not their guy. So it was just maybe it hasn't been publicly announced by the time this goes out. I think people will know. I think it's going to be Jaden Fisher in there for Bucknell. So until brackets get released, then nothing's official, until Friday morning weigh-ins. But don't be surprised if you see Jaden Fisher in there for him as a returning placer, who's a tough out. We wrestled him a couple times last year. so he's a tough out. So I think he'll slide in at the same spot though. I think Fisher goes in at the 5 seed just like Dell. So they'll be in the same spot in the bracket.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just a lot of funk in this bracket. There's Frenzy coming in over Burkhart.
Yep.
And I saw his matches. I mean, there's just a lot of.
Which one did we wrestle at Lehigh? Did we wrestle Frenzy or so we didn't wrestle Frenzy?
No, wrestled Burkhart, and then Burkhart got injured against Ryder.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah, Burkhart is one of the, he keeps it real close, and he had, I think he beat Cerniglia from Navy, but no, it was one of those late stall calls. Something happened.
That's right. Yeah, that was late. Yep. Yeah, that somebody scored late there to win that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they took it back on the review. That's what I think happened. Something where I was like, darn it, because I just don't like to see anybody from Navy win. Even though I think Cobb would be a better finals matchup than Clark, I had Cobb losing in the semis just because he's from Navy.
Yeah, I can respect that.
Because he's not very good.
Yeah, but Hartman's more of a controlled funk guy, so he's not like.
Yeah, he's a little bit. Not a little bit. He's a lot more mature in his wrestling than he was a couple of years ago. Where he knows himself a little bit more, knows what he wants to do, how he wants to do it. I don't have a heart attack watching him wrestle like I used to. Even last year at Midlands, I wouldn't sit in his corner. I was like, I have no idea what. I always say Marcus is the guy that can't do anything you teach, but everything he does, you can't teach it. So he's a pro. He's a nightmare for a coach. He's a nightmare for opponents. That whatever you try to teach him, he can't do it. And then he goes out there and does stuff. You're like, I have no idea what that was or even how to do it. So, you just let him win with his strengths. And that's one of them, is that he knows himself pretty well and knows where he's good.
I feel like Marcus has got some sneaky Pete in him, possibly. What do you think?
I mean, he doesn't just go sneaky. He goes sneaky cartwheel, break your hip with a cradle. I mean, the guy's like, here's the thing you don't know about Marcus until you grab him. You're like, oh, he looks kind of tall and lanky, but his balance is incredible. His core is so strong. And then when he gets on top of it, it is painful. Like, he puts legs in, it's not just a strong leg ride. Like, oh, this guy's hard to get away from. Like, it hurts. He can hurt you when he's on top.
Like JT.
Cool. Yeah, right.
And my former
who is better riding legs, Gracie or Hartman?
Hartman's meaner. Gracie was like, he was like a wet blanket. You could not get the guy off of you. But Hartman's a little bit more physical and a little bit more painful. Gracie, that's a good analogy because Gracie was so unique too. And it took him a while in his career to figure out where he was really good. But once he started really getting a grasp of here's where I'm good, here's what I need to be doing, he was really dangerous. And remember his senior year, I mean, he stormed through the EIWA tournament and, I mean, like a really strong third place finish, I think it was. Maybe one questionable call against guy in the semis. Man, Gracie, I'm glad you brought him up. He was a lot of fun to coach. Man, he was a lot of fun. I wish I had more than 1 year with him because he was a lot of fun.
Yeah, he came to the 101st when I was there, and DeVarty was getting a combatives team together, and I said, and Gracie was in our battalion. I said, hey Coleman, you're going in the combatives tournament. I don't care.
So I don't know if I've told you, I tried to recruit Gracie when I was at Ouachita Baptist because he was at Tuttle, and I had 3 or 4 kids from Tuttle on my team at Ouachita. So I tried to recruit Coleman, but he was, he's a 3-time state champ. He was ranked nationally, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to go to West Point. And all his, a mutual friend or a coach there was like, he's never going to make it to West Point. I don't know why he's going there. He'll never make it. He can't show up on time for anything. He's never, he's always got one shoe different than the other. And I think that probably was true at West Point, like up until his senior year,
He definitely had a rough start, but man, he was a stud and he's a great person. So
yeah,
shout out Cole. Hope you're doing well, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the DeVarty operations officer saw him because he likes Corps Squad guys. He's a Corps Squad football player. He said, hey, Gracie, what are you doing now? He's like, oh, I'm like a kind of an unslotted lieutenant. He's like, what's a great thing for unslotted lieutenants? Ranger school. And he went to Ranger school, comes back in 3 months with a Ranger tab.
Hell yeah, Gracie.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good segue to 65. His old weight. Yeah, what we got going on there?
All right, go ahead, Hutch.
Oh, man. I just got a healthy Marcus winning at 157. I think consensus. Yeah, Jaden Fisher beat Holden Heller last year. I don't know if Holden Heller got way better or, Marcus just had a horrible match. But I think Cerniglia survives. And Yeah, as much as we don't want Navy to be in the finals, we get an Army-Navy final. And he's pretty funky. It could be wild, but I don't see Marcus losing to him. 65. As much as I don't like Tanner's schedule, I think he wins at 65. I didn't know Clayton Fielden. Saw he's a two-time state champ or two-time state runner-up from Indiana. Excuse me. Fargo All-American. Is he big for 65?
He's not going to be small. He wrestled 74 earlier in the year, and his descent plan, it took till now for him to be able to get down to 65. But I mean, he's managed it, really well. I think he's touched down a couple times. So, but yeah, he's not going to be small.
Coming down that 1.5% each week.
Yeah, you had to bring it up. We'll get started on that later.
So I mean, he's gonna have a tough matchup. I expect him to beat Ryan Farrow. Hartman's gonna be a tough matchup. If he comes through that, great. I gotta feel pretty good about Brevin Costella as a 4 seed and like our ability to beat that guy. That match drove me absolutely nuts during the dual mate. That dude didn't do a damn thing. I think he got a cheap point. Got a late takedown maybe and kind of hung on.
Yeah, he wrote us out. He got a takedown maybe like the first 10 seconds of the match. He ended up maybe he got a stall call. We rode him, I'm pretty sure, and then we were on top of him and got a stall call when we were on top. He did the same thing to the Lehigh guy. If you watch the Binghamton guy at 65, he'll reach down and grab your legs when he's standing up and just hold on to your leg and wait for the ref to call the top guy for stalling. He did that to us. He did it to the Lehigh guy.
Loser.
But he's good. I mean, here's the thing. That guy's, you got to respect him. He's got a good shot. He can ride. Yeah, I mean, the guy's pretty good. So we're going in as a true freshman, with no matches at the weight class. So we better respect everybody there.
Absolutely.
Does that at 74 count towards his 4-match requirement? No.
Yeah.
Now, Farrow, though, last year he countered Schedule throw in the first round, had Schedule on his back, and then Schedule came back and pinned him. It was like the only time I saw Schedule wrestle for 1 minute straight in my life. But I'm going to keep bashing Schedule. If he makes All-American this year, he could punch me in the face. Okay, but Ryan Farrow can beat anybody in this bracket, but he can also lose to everybody in this bracket.
Quote.
B-Row, what is it?
8:31. We can timestamp that quote. If he All-Americans, he can punch you.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's gonna punch you in the face. Unfortunately,
and that's actually a good segue. We haven't brought this up, but Matt Kyler put out a request that he said if we can get a sanctioned wrestling match between Hutch and Chick, that he will train and wrestle 100% in Midlands this year.
The only way, if you told me now, in 1 week you have to wrestle, the only weight class I can make right now is heavyweight.
All right,
that's the only weight class.
There's no weight classes in the jungle. You guys are wrestling. Matt side weigh-ins, but there's no.
I walk around 197, so we're probably okay.
Okay, well, how tall are you?
6'1", 6'2".
Okay, so I'm 5'9". So
how big a boy are you?
I'm 240.
This is like in the kids club tournament when you're sizing the guy up, and you look at the bracket. Where do you go? Look at his shoes next?
Yeah.
No, I'm worried about how I would look in a singlet. Okay.
Yeah, we wouldn't do that to anybody watching. We would be yeah.
Hold on.
No, absolutely. Maybe we don't put a singlet on.
I thought Chick was going to pop the top.
Is he going to put a singlet on?
I'm a published model. I don't know if you ever heard of Athlete Warrior. They went around and asked people they took photos of everyone from all the service academies in shirtless and then doing their whatever sport.
Are you flipping through there like you don't have the page bookmarked already?
No, I thought I had it. I didn't, but I'll find it. I'll
just put it up full Roy D. Mercer on Hutch. He just said, "How big of a boy are you?"
How big a boy are you?
That's right. Come on down and open up.
The Air Force water polo team does not look good. Oh, there you go. So right there.
We caught him doing some light reading.
I am on the right there. And no, those are not Photoshopped abs, but I am nowhere near that.
Who's the guy on the left? Because he's looking nice.
It's Pete Backey. He was
Shout out Pete Backey.
yeah, he was really good. Really good wrestler, but he didn't start, even though he was beaten, like majoring the starter in practice. And then
Let me just finish you guys this kids club size up competition. What kind of shoes you guys got? You got any tattoos? What kind of headgear you got? You got the forehead thing going on. You got your single hiked up. You got to pull down to your knees. You got a little pee stain maybe. I don't know. All right.
Kind of chains.
well, I got a good '80s wrestler attire. With
How
the
many years have you wrestled? You know, all those things. We can get out all the way. Anything else in 65, gentlemen?
Yeah,
No, it's wide open. Oh, you got
It's kind of unknown when we got a guy that hasn't really been out there. It's a matter of him going out with the right tenacity and getting it done.
yeah. I mean, 5 qualifiers, it could happen. Like he could take 5th place and go to the big show. So
100%. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
he's definitely capable.
74, as alluded to, Ben Bazook, number 3. A couple people said they didn't think he maybe got the accolades or the credit for his 2-match win streak, but hey, it's 2 matches. So, thoughts?
I think his first match is with one of those stingy veteran guys. So it's Frankie Guida, I believe, from Bucknell. But I don't know. Bazook is just gonna turn it up because Guida gets gassed. I think that's a major. But yeah, I think he can beat O'Malley.
So I think Frankie Guida's at 184 unless he dropped. Frankie Guida went to my high school. His older brother was a 4-time state placer, I think a 2-time state champ, wrestled for the University of Illinois and got injured early in his career. But yeah, no, we're not going to have problems with Frankie Guida. But I think we have
Yeah, I'm seeing a Vincent Andriano.
Oh, is that who it is? Andriano? Yeah. I think that's
I thought that.
Montgomery.
I thought that got changed. The Andriano, I thought it got changed, but
oh, maybe. I could be wrong.
I'm just looking at
I think you're right. I think it's the same guy that Brad wrestled.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to see him get to the finals and get a shot at O'Malley. He's currently ranked 10. That just give him a good.
Is he really? O'Malley's ranked 10th in the country.
Yeah, be a good measuring stick for him going into the big show and see where he's at against top 10 guys.
Intermat's got him at 9, but I think that's because he beat Foka in like the state finals as a senior, and O'Malley he like changes his style with everyone he wrestles. Like he's a completely different person every time he wrestles someone. So
okay.
I know I'm a little bit of a critic, but 74 outside of like the top 4 or 5 is really wide open. It's yeah, like 5 to 20 are like guys I never heard of before.
I'd say it's top 6, but yeah.
Well, I think it's the most wide open in terms of talent drop off, but I think the most wide open after like 1 and 2 has got to be 165. I mean, those guys, but I agree with Coach that Brevin Cassell is a pretty good wrestler. I didn't think he was that good when I saw his first match against Ryder because he didn't do anything, but I didn't realize that was his jam. He didn't do anything, but he's smart.
Yeah.
Oh, at 174, Ben Harvey whipped Michael O'Malley for 3rd place last year. I'm pretty sure at EIWA is like 6-1, 7-1.
Yeah, and Harvey like pinned people in that tournament.
Yeah, not a surprise there. I mean, Ben, we know how good Ben was. And if I remember right, that Drexel kid is a little bit funky, likes to scramble, not afraid to go upper body a little bit.
Yep.
And, you'd have to be a lot better than Ben in those positions to win them. And Ben was really good there. So that was a good matchup for Harvey. Good matchups for Ben, too. Like, Bazook is a 180 from Ben Harvey, and just in their strengths, and what they're good at when they wrestle. The positions that they're good at, where Ben is B-Row. Was that B-Row poking his head over there? But no, it's going to be fun. They're polar opposites in kind of their style, but they're both really, where they're good, they're really good. So yeah, it'll be fun to see. I'm excited for Bazook.
All right. Anything else on that, gentlemen?
No, but I think he's the Army wrestler that I've been most excited about in a little bit. New coming in, 4 years of Bazook. Really, really excited. Trajectory. I would be shocked if this kid's not an All-American in his 4 years.
Yeah, I think I'm setting myself up for a letdown because every match he wrestles now, I just assume he's going to get six takedowns. So,
Yeah, that's fine. Set the bar high. I mean, I'm like you, Hutch. I would be disappointed and surprised if he's not a multiple-time All-American for us.
Well, that's what happens when you recruit talent out of the great state of Ohio. So
I knew that had to get worked in there.
it did. 84, JT Brown coming in with the swag and the chains at number 3. We see
We're gonna put Taylor Brown in at 184. Actually,
I'm sorry, I got way ahead of myself. There's so many Browns, geez. Too many Browns.
Spice going in as the 3 seed. Really want to know what Hutch thinks about this one.
Yeah, Old Spice.
Yeah, so I like it. I didn't get a whole lot on Josh Stillings for the first matchup.
Yeah.
He looks like he had a couple matches okay.
Is he a freshman?
Hold on. I got the Russell stat on my phone, so let me get in there. No, I don't have it on my phone, but I'll get in there in 1 second. So when I was looking through it, he had a lot. He was like one of those extra matches guys. So his wins aren't that good, and his losses are like to maybe a starter who had an extra match.
Gotcha.
I do remember.
So he's 2-3 in the year. He's a sophomore. His redshirt freshman year last year was at 197.
Oh wow.
So he's just filling. But no, I like Spicy and that one. And man, that Navy match that killed me. That damn Merkel, like Taylor, he got in on his legs so beautifully on key, and kind of gave up a cheap Merkel. And honestly, outside of that, I felt like he out wrestled Key, takedown at the last second or whatever, but garbage time. I feel like Spicy out wrestled him. And I don't think he's going to beat Luda but I got him in the finals. One thing to note, and it shouldn't really matter because Spicy isn't going to be in this. They're wrestling for True Sixth at 184. And it won't matter at 149 either, but I think they're wrestling for True Fourth.
Yeah, so we were going to do that earlier on. Then maybe it was last week or week before, coaches voted against it, actually.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah, so no true placement matches at 49, 84, or heavyweight. But listen, we have 6 weights at 184. Win a match. If you want to go to the tournament, win a match. So yeah, there's no complaints. There's no need for a true placement match in that weight. Go win one.
Could they pull a Big 12 situation and just decide, later in the day, like, hey, we're going to have a true 9th place match?
No.
Maybe if the Princeton lawyers get involved again.
Here's the good thing about us is as the EIWA, we're our own conference. So the coaches effectively make the rules. We don't have to let a Big 12 administrator or anybody else, there is no EIWA administrator.
Are they going to have what's the review process going to be like? Are there going to be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there'll be standard video review. Yeah.
It won't be the refs are going to review their own calls, or is it going to be?
I'm not sure if they're going to have an independent reviewer there or not. I'm not sure that it matters. I mean, it's we were watching some matches from the tournament last year that got our personal matches that got reviewed and calls didn't get overturned when they should have. They only should have gotten overturned if you're going by the rules, and they didn't. The review, does it matter? I don't know.
If there's third-party review, then I feel like that wouldn't. If they should get it overturned, then they're not. It's because obviously the refs are making their own calls and judging it. I feel like that makes a big difference.
Except
I don't know. I have to see. I'm sure someone could provide the stats on that. How many got overturned with refs reviewing their own call versus independent? Independent's better, but still, it's the way it works. It's good in theory, but the way it works, in reality, is you go over there and you say what you're challenging, and then a couple people kind of look at each other and okay, we're going to take a look at this, and you just never know if they're looking at it completely objectively. or are they looking at it with, they just watched the match. They're sitting there watching the match. It's not like they're in a booth somewhere. They're watching the match and then they go back and they watch it, So it's not like they already know what the call is. They already know who called it. It's not a perfect system. It's probably better than nothing, but it could be improved.
Yes. Sometimes you wish that, because I've seen the assistant referee, like they'll go straight up to him and say, no, that shouldn't have been called. But you and I both know that sometimes that doesn't work when the video review doesn't work. But I don't want to go back into, a match that may or may not have happened on a battleship somewhere or something.
Yeah.
That 125 last year in Wisconsin.
Oh, where the camera broke?
Yeah.
That was a BS call, too.
The other referee was like shaking his head, no, because he was on that side where Trey had the leg.
Yeah.
That was. I hate to bring back those deep wounds.
Yeah, I'd almost forgotten about that one. I appreciate it. Sorry, Trey, if you're
Bring
watching.
it back, Jace. All right, let's get through 97 heavy in the next 5-7 minutes. We're coming up on an hour, and then we'll zip through some questions with Coach and wrap it up.
All right, I'll keep my mouth
97.
shut. Let these guys do it.
All right.
Go, Hutch.
Oh, you want me to go? All right. Hey, JT's proven he's beaten every one of these dudes in the weight. So if he puts it together, he should do it. My big point to JT is like he should have no fears. 5 dudes are qualifying at this weight. There's no way JT could have a bad tournament and he still take it 4th or 5th place. And that's a really bad tournament for JT. Go out and wrestle your stuff. He broke Kozer. I mean, Kozer was throwing cheap shots and all kinds of stuff. Go out and wrestle him like he did last time. And then I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go with Jacobson. He didn't look good in that match. But he's definitely more than capable of beating him, winning the whole thing.
Yeah, I got JT Brown winning this whole thing. Nobody can handle his chains. Not this Friday. He's going to have some terrifying chains at Spooky Nook.
Swag and surf.
Yeah. I'm just hoping Trey Rogers makes a break for the finals because he's one of those stingy guys. But I do have him like doing a lot of backslide damage. Probably place one higher than a seed. Yeah, Kozer had a really good dual meet season last year, and then just like it seemed like crumbled at the tournament last year. So I don't know if that's going to happen again. I don't see him losing his first round, but if he loses in the semis, he might slide down. That's really all I have to say about 197. I think it's Brown's to kind of take. I just think he needs to kind of stay in his stance a little bit better against Jacobson, who he just seems really flexible in his movement. And JT probably needs to, maybe get a little lower or something like that, and pick his shot. It's the same way he wrestled last year, Simmons. Really, I don't think he wrestled the same way when he went against Jacobson. But Jacobson was doing like a 3-point stance. Never really seen him do that.
That's actually a pretty accurate coaching breakdown there, Chick. It's pretty good. It's amazing how simple it can be sometimes. Just get in a wrestling stance if you want to win a wrestling match, and then wrestle after you do that. If JT does that, yeah, he's in the driver's seat.
All right, moving into heavyweight. He's listed in the bracket as Robert Held, but he's affectionately known as Bobby in our hearts.
Big Bob.
And his mom, I gotta say it, she's the greatest supporter. She likes everything, comments. Shout out, Mrs.
Team
Held.
captain.
You're awesome.
Team captain of the wrestling moms for sure.
Right.
If there's an Instagram story, I can guarantee that Mrs. Held is sending me fire emojis after.
He's gonna get you.
And I tell you what, if Bobby's ever a commander and he's not married, she's gonna be an all-time FRG leader. That's what I'm saying. All right, Bobby comes in at number 3. Kind of gets skated by Navy after that loss in the duel, but man, we all know how that went with the 3-1 count near falls. And then he's got Wood as number 1, Lehigh, which he had a tough match with, and he had that stupid stall call in the third. But I like him. I like him here. Definitely a top 3 guy.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about this draw is that Bobby's got to go against Crosby, who I don't think he's going to lose to, but it's going to take a lot out of Bobby. And Birchmeier has Nagoski from LIU isn't as athletic looking as Crosby from Bucknell. Let's just say that.
Yeah, no,
So,
Crosby's a talented guy. I think we went through this, after the Bucknell dual meet. Crosby's a talented young heavyweight who you got to be ready to wrestle when you go against him. But
so I'm just not thinking that Birchmeier might be worn out from his match.
Yeah.
But Heald is probably like the best conditioned heavyweight in this bracket. So I think if he he could have taken down Birchmeier more, but Birchmeier looks like he's pretty darn strong. But I don't see Bobby losing. I really don't see him losing to Birchmeier again. I mean, we have a lot of 3 seeds. So that means like Navy has a lot of like 1 and 2 seeds. They have a lot of 2 seeds, but really we turn those 3 seeds into finalists and we are, looking really good.
I mean, the majority of 1, 2s, and 3s are made up between us, Navy, and Lehigh. It's just the fact of it this year. So it'll be interesting. Anybody else got anything before we kind of get into some questions?
No, I saw Jordan Wood just got beat against Ryder, got taken down at the end of the match, and they actually lost a duel because of that. So
did he?
Yep. So he's vulnerable to getting beat. And like looking at it, 4 qualifiers. So what does Bobby have to do? He's got to beat one person between Birchmeier, Knight and Ward, and Doyle. Is basically what it boils down to. On top of the opening win against Crosby. So I feel good about Bobby, making a run at the finals, but should be no reason that he doesn't come home with a qualification.
Let's go, Bob.
Yeah, I mean, I think if there's anything that came out of 2 weeks ago, losing to Navy, specifically Bobby and Spicy, I think they're going to come back, and it's going to help them on Friday, winning those matches. There's just a little bit more, not more at stake necessarily, but it's a different matchup now, and you got a little chip on your shoulder. So I like them in the semifinal matchups there.
Right.
Yeah. Lose.
Yeah, well, let's take some viewer questions, JT. Are these questions for me or are these questions for Chick?
These are questions for you, I think.
Yeah, these are Coach Ward questions, but
I may phone a friend or tag Hutch in here on some of these.
So Logan Everett asks, can you send out a doctor's note to all the fans to get Friday off?
What's up, Everett?
And Logan, he matched in questions Nick Haley. So,
attaboy.
Logan Everett is a super fan now. That's what I'm talking about. Everett, I think he may have texted me about this. He's planning on being sick on Friday, huh? He feels a cold coming on. Well,
it's real easy. COVID protocol, you just say you're traced.
Yeah. You don't power through it. Don't go to work if you're not feeling good. Think about others, Logan. Don't be selfish.
Contact trace, bada bing, bada boom, you're at the house. Got it on the screen. Ain't nothing but a thing, all right? Dan Young used to call it a personal day. Don't worry about it. All right, next question comes from Sam. Sorry, I might say your name wrong, Rudda. Coach, he asks, how does Mark Montgomery's matchup look? And then side note, he asks something about B-Row's cat here. I can't really understand what he's trying to ask, but something about B-Row's cat being the official mascot of BHAW.
Yeah, so Sam's the one last week who was like, hey, let's get the elephant out of the room. What's the deal with B-Row's cat? So since then, Sam's been sending the BHAW page like cat videos, being like, "This is," and I'm like, "Sam's a crazy cat dude. He's got to be." And I respond with like fire emojis or whatever.
Well, you're giving it right back to him. You're like, "Yeah, this cat video is fire. We love that." Or are you doing that just to be nice, or are you doing that because you love cat videos and you think it's some hot fire?
It's I'd say it's a little bit of both.
They were really like, who doesn't enjoy a good cat video anyway, if we're being honest?
It was like a cat walking out of the door, and they had like entrance music and like it was like he was coming out for the NCAA finals. Willie needs that entrance. He was like, Willie needs that entrance for the next podcast or something like that. So how can I not send fire emojis?
No, that's fire emoji. That's it. What do I think? You know, the cat man is asking what I think about Mark Montgomery's draw. I think we went through that. I think it's good. Mainly because I like Mark Montgomery a lot. I like his attitude, like how competitive he is. I like that he never gets down on himself and he always comes back and works hard. I like Mark a lot.
Monty, I'm making that stick. All right, next question comes from Nick. He's a longtime listener. He asks if Hartman is 100% ready, injury-free. We already answered that, but he's good to go, Nick. He's ready to roll.
He's good to go. Keep rolling.
All right, Jim Latham asks if it is possible the allocations could still change. I guess I would ask, you know, maybe more what he's probably trying to get at is, could the seeds change? Hey, there's Willie. We got the cat on now. Could we see the seeds change, which you kind of already addressed?
I think seeds will change if someone is replaced between now and Friday morning. Seeds could change. Allocations will not change.
All right.
Yep.
Hey, on the allocations, Coach, are you getting any gripes from like the Big Ten or ACC coaches or Big 12s, like that we maybe got one extra per weight without the 6 Ivy teams?
I mean, everybody's complaining about it except us. But I mean, here's the reality of it, Hutch, is find a better way. Like name a better way to do it, and you really can't. Nope. And our numbers, you know, especially 184. You know, is 6 is probably too many for that weight class. But outside of that, where are the numbers inflated? You know, where are they at? It's really not. You know, we're not going to send anybody to the national tournament that doesn't belong there. It's going to work itself out this year. I think there's 62 wild cards at large bids. It's going to work itself out. I mean, you got to plan on from the EIWA. If you don't get one of the spots, you're not getting that large bid. Like, it's not going to happen this year. So, you know that going in, EIWA, you're not getting that large. You know what you got to do going into the tournament. We accept that. I think that's probably pretty realistic. Let's do what we can. And, yeah, but I don't think the numbers are as inflated as – I think people don't think for themselves is what I think. I think people hear somebody that they respect that doesn't like it, and they get in line and repeat what that person said without ever really giving it any thought.
I agree. That's the same response I gave everybody, which is the at-large bids are going to take care of the need of the discrepancies, one. And number two, every single year, despite what happens, the top 20 best guys, I'll call it, they always make it to the tournament. The bottom, like 13 dudes, it's kind of interchangeable, you know, based on how they performed at conference or wild cards and all that kind of stuff. That's just the name of the game. So it's all about who shows up.
That's right.
This boils down to money. It boils down to politics. It boils down to wanting to say that, you know, the Big Ten had the most qualifiers for NCAAs or whatever conference. That's all it is.
Yeah. Well, you know, we know what we got to do, so let's go do it on Friday.
I don't think it should matter for us, but I'd like to think that maybe at 125 or 133, depending on how those shake out, EIWA could get an extra at-large bid.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. You never want to count on that. You know, it's a possibility, but you just got to see what's going to be. You know, what's going to be important in that is the coaches poll. You know, a coaches poll will be coming out again soon, and then another one after. Maybe I think it's right before March 10th, or maybe on March 10th, the third coaches poll comes out. You know, when the selection show drops. But that's going to be really important this year is the coaches poll, and the coaches poll is, you know, it's got its flaws. You know, because it's coaches that are obviously going to do what they think is right for their guy. So, you know, the bottom line, don't leave it up to an at-large bid this year.
You think any coaches are going to try and like cook the books against the EIWA? To like?
I think coaches cook the books every single year, and this year's not going to be any different. I think Willie agrees. Look at him. Yeah.
So Nick asked, and we talked about a good bit, but do you have anything to add about our new 65-pounder?
No, I mean, Clay is just a super hardworking guy. And, you know, Bo Guffey had to go into quarantine, right before the Navy match. It's just like the worst timing ever. And to have to miss a few dual meets. So I think Bo missed Bucknell, he missed Navy, and just a really tough spot for him. But I guess what I would like to say about 165, anybody is about Bo Guffey and Will Lucy, the seniors that put their heart and soul into the program. And yeah, Clay's going to be the guy to go represent us at the EIWA tournament, but Will Lucy and Bo Guffey, Clay's not who he is right now going to Russell. It's not for those two, that were fighting for the spot. And they've been fighting for the spot for 5 years, and that's really kind of the backbone of a program is made by those guys that are willing to show up and fight every day, even though they're not getting the attention and they're not getting talked about by the fans and they don't care. They're just doing it because they have goals for themselves and they have a lot of pride in how they do it. So, yeah, if we're going to say anything about anybody else at 165, it needs to be that Will Lucy and Bo Guffey have helped make the team better for the past 5 years.
And that's BHAW right there. Logan Everett asks another question. He wants to know how you're approaching matchups against guys that haven't competed this season, guys like American. Is there going to be a different game plan for those guys, maybe going off of film, or are we just going to wrestle the Army away? See what happens.
So, for us, like we do a lot of scouting as coaches. You probably could tell by the questions that I ask. I don't do a lot of scouting. The assistant coaches do, and I trust them to do it. And so it's like you got to be aware of what somebody has without focusing on it, is the way I describe it. So it's like, to me, it's like driving down the highway and knowing where the ditch is. Like you're not focused on the ditch, you're focused on the road, but you got to know where it's at because you don't want to run over there, right? So that's kind of how we scout is let's be prepared, do your homework as a coach, know, if a guy's got a headlock, you probably need to know that. And, but you still when you go onto the mat, you're focusing on what you're going to do. So it doesn't really change. Matchups, I mean, who we're talking about here, we're talking about Gage Curry and Keyshawn Clark, really are the two guys that haven't wrestled all year that we know are really good. If we see them in the bracket, we know what to expect. But the bottom line is, like, we got to go out there and do what we need to do to be able to win, is focus on our strengths. We're going to win with our strengths. So we got to be able to get to positions we're good at, execute, and score some points.
All right. Last question comes from Nick. He wants to know what the practice schedule is for the team following the conference tournament, regardless of how it shakes out. Yeah. Well, it'll be a couple of days of rest coming off the tournament because I think that's just kind of the smart thing to do. And then we have about an extra 3 or 4 days this year to get some quality training in before we go to St. Louis. So it's still undetermined right now what day we'll actually go to St. Louis. It could be as early as Sunday or Monday, the week of the tournament. It could be as late as Tuesday. Kind of depends on what the NCAA's procedure is when you get there. You're going to have to test before you go. You're going to have to test a couple times when you get there before you can leave and go work out. So, but the bottom line is, Nick, is we'll get back and kind of evaluate and take inventory of what we did well, what we need to improve on at the tournament. And then you start training your guys. The training then is much more focused on the individual, the individual qualifier. Getting them ready, but we don't do any like scouting or individual matchups maybe until the week of the tournament. Like, okay, here's who you can see. Let's get ready for a couple positions here if you need to. But the training this year in general is more individualized. It's shorter. Like practice today was maybe like 45 minutes. It's a warm up, 25 to 30 minutes of technique and drill, maybe 15 minutes hard, and that's it. And you're out of there. Cut weight on your own after that. So we expect that the same thing, leading up to the NCAA tournament.
There was one other question that Jordan overlooked. Which probable Army-Navy wrestler rematch are you looking forward to the most at the EIWAs?
Oh, shoot.
Heavyweight, 84, and 97. He pigeonholed those three.
Oh, he did? He got those?
He pretty much said, hey, which one are you most excited about? But
I mean, I guess if I hadn't thought about this yet, but that could be 3 semis in a row, right? Yeah, so all 3 of them, that's 3 big time matches, man. And that's 3 semifinals in a row. Yeah, they're all big. 84 is what I'm looking forward to most. And then when that's done, 97. And then when that's done, heavyweight. We got to win the first match first. Good question though. Yeah, I mean, I hate to take the easy way out and say all of them, but that's just the honest truth. It's all of them.
All righty. That's it for questions. Dan, Sean, thanks for coming on, guys. You guys got anything else?
No, but Coach, what do you think the over/under is for Coach D'Angelo riding time?
Coach on who?
On you.
On me? Who's asking this? Is D'Angelo asking this? Get out of here, Joe.
I know he's the one that kind of restrains you from stepping onto the playable area of the mat.
Oh, I need that. That's the get back coach. Yeah, I need that. He's the shirt tail, the coach.
Yeah,
grab it by the shirt tail or
I know what you guys are working. It's one of those hold me back, just so the ref knows.
I thought you were talking about the wrestling, bro. Come on, Joe. He knows better than that. Hey, let me tell you that you guys don't know this, all right? But Joe and Spice have wrestled a match for the past 4 years, like on the same day of the year, every year. But Spice has gone from, 41, 49, 57 to 84. You've just seen the beating that Spice put on Joe a couple weeks ago. Coach Shuck's out there. Maybe he can send you some of the clips because he got a couple of videos. Maybe he can send them to the BHAW Instagram. But it was too funny, because Joe maybe kind of owned him that first year. But Spice is a grown man now. So you're talking about riding time with Joe D'Angelo. Just ask Joe what happened when Spice got on top.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Listen, I'm going to be on my best behavior. No teamwork. It's like, I think Chick and maybe a couple others give me a hard time over it, but I've been, really well behaved on the
I love it.
Yeah. I got a mask on too, so it kind of muffles the sound a little bit. You can't read the lips. You can't. I'm usually telling the ref what a great job he's doing. I hope him and his family have a wonderful night. Those are kind of the things that I'm saying to the ref. You did a great job tonight. I hope you and your family have a wonderful evening, and can't wait to see you again.
Yeah, when I was in Grace Hall, I think it was 2018 or 19, something like that, and I saw you there because I was posted in New Jersey. I was like, man, these refs are bad. Don't worry, I'll do what you don't need to do. I'll do it for you. And then the Lehigh faithful was telling me to shut up and sit down the whole time. And then 2 of my classmates were there, and they're like, hey, Chicarelli, get over here. So it was a good thing I was doing that.
I love it. Well, man, I hate it that you guys aren't going to be able to be there in person on Friday. It will be on Flow. We start at 10 a.m. on Friday. Ryan Chauvin's going to get us started. And we're looking forward. We know we have a team that's capable of going in and winning the tournament. But we're going to need to bear our best to do that. So I'm excited for it. I appreciate everyone's support, interest in the program. Looking forward to a good weekend.
What if I put on my dress gray and just show up? And I'm like,
you should try that. Do that. You should do that with your beard. I'm sure everyone will think that it'll be perfect. I'll put you on the list, Piro. Come on in.
It is spooky season.
Listeners, just it's going to be live on Flow. Action starts at 10 a.m. Eastern. Semis start at 2, and then finals and placement matches start at 5:30.
Okay.
All righty. And get your BHAW Army Wrestling gear on Barbarian Apparel. You got till the 27th before the shop closes.
Cool.
I like swag. You got to get on that.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Optimistically, I think we got 9 qualifiers. Confidently, 7. And hey, B-Ro, can you give me a workout? I got to do a workout with my lieutenants tomorrow. Do you got a plan for me?
I'll set you up. Just
all right.
Shoot me a text after this. I'll put something together.
There you go. You heard it here first. Master Fitness Trainer B-Ro. All right. All righty. BHAW beat everybody.
BHAW. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Beat everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to the BHAW Radio Show. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast platform. If there's something you'd like to hear on a future show, reach out to us on any of our social media, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Or you can reach us at email, bhaw.radio@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and as always, go Army, be Navy.